My hands were shaking. They were shaking so hard that I dropped my favorite blue pen, and it rolled right off my desk. My boss, Mr. Abernathy, had just stolen my future. He had looked me right in the eyes and given my promotion, the one I worked 15 years for, to his 23-year-old nephew. I was still trying to breathe. I was still trying to stop the tears from burning my eyes. And then he had the nerve to ask me. He leaned on my desk, smiled like he was my friend, and said the one thing that finally broke me. "Patricia," he said, "now that that's settled, I need you to. My name is Patricia Saylor. I am 42 years old, and for 15 years, I have given my soul to this company. I'm the one who comes in before the sun is up. I'm the one who misses family dinners to fix their mistakes. This promotion wasn't just about a new title or more money. It was about my mom. It was the money I needed to finally move her into a safe nursing home, one where she wouldn't be alone, one where she would be cared for. This job was my life. But I learned very quickly that to them I was just a tool. Before I tell you what he asked me and what I did next, I just have to ask. Have you ever felt invisible? Have you ever given your absolute best, your whole heart, only to be pushed aside for someone else? If you know that pain, please, I am begging you, click that subscribe button. You are not alone in this. I need you to see what happens when a good person gets pushed too far. Your support right now means more to me than you will ever know. Please join me. Just last week I was so happy. Mr. Abernathy had called me into his big glass office. "Patricia," he said, "you are the rock of this company. You're the future." I believed him. I was so stupid. I went home that night and told my mom the good news. "We're going to be okay, Mom," I cried. We celebrated with a small cupcake. I even bought a new suit for the big announcement meeting. I practiced my new signature in a notebook. Patricia Saylor, Senior Vice President. It looked so real. Then 2 weeks ago he showed up. Mr. Abernathy's nephew. He was fresh out of college and smelled like expensive cologne and laziness. He spent all day on his phone laughing at videos. He didn't know how to send a professional email. He didn't know how to use the coffee machine. And I, like a fool, was nice to him. Helped him. I thought I was just helping the boss's family member learn a few things. I never ever thought I was training the person who was here to take my job. The big meeting was yesterday. I sat in the front row, my hands folded, my heart pounding with excitement. Mr. Abernathy stood up and smiled. "As you all know, we have been looking for a new senior vice president," he said. I held my breath. It was a hard choice, but I am so proud to announce. Chad will be taking the position. The room went silent. You could hear a pin drop. I felt every single eye in that room turn to look at me. Chad just looked up from his phone and shrugged. I had to clap. I had to smile. Felt like swallowing glass. I waited until everyone left. I walked to his office. My legs felt like they were made of heavy stone. "Mr. Abernathy," I said, my voice shaking. "Can I ask why?" He didn't even look up from his computer. "Patricia, Chad has a fresh perspective. He's young. He's new blood. We need to think about the future of this company. 15 years of my life. And I wasn't the future. But sir," I pleaded. "He doesn't know anything about this department. He doesn't know our clients." He finally looked at me, his eyes cold. "That," he said, "is where you come in." And that's when he asked me. The request. The words that felt like a slap. "Patricia, I need you to train Chad. Show him everything you know. He's your new boss after all, and I expect you to give him your full support." He wanted me to hand over my life's work. He wanted me to build the throne for the boy who stole my career. He wanted me to teach this kid how to do the job I had earned with my blood, sweat, and tears. What would you have done? Would you have screamed? Would you have quit? I see so many of you watching right now, and I just want to know, where are you watching this story from? Please tell me in the comments. It gives me so much strength to know I'm not alone. And I truly pray from the bottom of my heart that you and your family find unexpected joy and fairness this week. You deserve it. And I need you to stay with me. Because what I found out next, it was so much bigger than just a promotion. This wasn't just unfair. It was a crime. If you think this is bad, wait until you see what I found. I walked back to my desk. Felt numb. I felt empty. I was going to pack my things. I was going to quit. Then Chad, my new boss, walked over, snapping his gum. "Hey, Patty," he said. "My uncle, Mr. Abernathy, said you'd be showing me the ropes. He also said you need to start getting his coffee every morning. 2 sugars, 1 cream. Don't mess it up." He laughed and walked away. I wanted to cry. But as he left, I looked at his desk. He hadn't locked his computer, and an email was wide open on the screen. The subject line read, "The real transfer, don't tell Patricia." My whole body froze, my eyes locked on Chad's computer screen. The words from the email felt like they were screaming at me. The real transfer, don't tell Patricia." For a second I couldn't move. My feet were stuck to the floor. My mind was racing. What transfer? What secret were they hiding from me? I could hear my heart pounding in my ears. I quickly looked around the empty office. There was no one. It was just me and this terrible glowing secret. I had to know what it said. Had to. With a shaking hand, I leaned closer. The email was from Mr. Abernathy to someone named Stephen in the finance department. My breath caught in my throat as I read the words. "Stephen, we need to move the full amount from the legacy account to the new holding company under Chad's name by the end of the month. Make sure Patricia's name is nowhere near this. She knows too much about the old project." The legacy account. That was my project. That was the retirement fund for hundreds of employees who had given their lives to this company. This wasn't just about a promotion anymore. This was about stealing. I stumbled back to my desk, my mind flashing back 5 years. I remembered all those nights I stayed late, eating dinner from a vending machine, building that system from scratch. Mr. Abernathy had called it my masterpiece. He said, "Patricia, you are protecting the people who built this company. This is our legacy." I poured my heart into it, creating extra layers of security to protect the retirement money of people I knew by name. People like Mary from accounting, who was saving for her grandkids, and George the security guard, who wanted to buy a small boat. I built it to be a fortress. Now, sitting at my desk, the cold truth hit me. They weren't just taking my job. They were using my own creation, my fortress, to rob the people I had promised to protect. They needed me gone because I was the only one who would notice. I was the only one who would know the money was being moved to the wrong place. My hands were trembling, but not from sadness anymore. It was rage. Pure cold rage. I pulled out my phone and took a picture of the email. Blick. The sound was so loud in the quiet office. I took another one just to be sure. The next morning I walked into the office and pretended that everything was normal. I smiled at my coworkers. I even made the coffee. I walked into Mr. Abernathy's office and placed his cup on his desk. "Good morning, sir," I said, my voice steady. 2 sugars, 1 cream. Just how you like it." He didn't even look up. He just grunted. A few minutes later, Chad came in, looking like he just rolled out of bed. "Morning, Patty," he said with a smirk. "Ready to teach me how to do your job?" I gave him the sweetest smile I could. "Of course, Chad. I'm here to help you with anything you need." I spent the whole day training him. But instead of showing him how things worked, I asked him questions. I acted like a dumb, confused old secretary. "Oh, Chad, I'm so forgetful. Can you remind me what Mr. Abernathy wants you to work on first?" He puffed out his chest, so proud to be the boss. "He said I need to get into the old accounts. The legacy ones," he said, making air quotes with his fingers. "He told me they're a gold mine and that it's time to cash in." A gold mine. He called the life savings of hundreds of trusting people a gold mine. Felt sick. Have you ever had to smile at someone while your heart was breaking with anger? It's one of the hardest things in the world to do. You feel like a volcano on the inside, but you have to be calm on the outside. For me, I had to think about my mom. I pictured her sweet, smiling face. If I lost this job, I couldn't pay for her medicine. I couldn't keep her safe. They had me trapped, and they knew it. Or at least that's what they thought. They didn't know I was a fighter. I remembered 2 years ago when my mom fell and broke her hip. The hospital bills were huge. I used up all my savings. I finally had to ask Mr. Abernathy for a loan. He was so nice about it. He patted my shoulder and said, "Of course, Patricia. Your family here. We take care of our own." He was lying. He wasn't helping me. He was buying my silence. He was making sure I would be too scared to ever leave, too scared to ever cause trouble. He was using my mother's health to control me. That night sleep was impossible. I just lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. I kept seeing the words from the email. "Don't tell Patricia." They thought I was just a simple worker bee. They thought I was quiet, loyal, and weak. They thought they could just take everything from me and I would just sit there and cry. But they made a very big mistake. They forgot who built the system. They forgot that the person who builds the house knows where all the secret passages are. I got out of bed before the sun came up. I drove to the office. It was dark and quiet. I walked to my desk, my heart pounding against my ribs. I had to know how bad it was. I opened my computer and went to the login page for the legacy project. I typed in my password. A red message flashed on the screen. Access denied. They had locked me out. For a second, panic washed over me. But then I took a deep breath. They locked the front door, yes. But they didn't know about the secret key I had hidden deep in the code years ago, just in case of an emergency. I typed in a long secret phrase. The screen blinked. And then it opened. And what I saw next made my blood run absolutely cold. It was so much worse than I ever could have imagined. The screen glowed in the dark, silent office. My blood didn't just run cold. It turned to ice. It wasn't one transfer. It was a list. Dozens and dozens of small transfers, all scheduled to happen over the next 3 days. They were sending the money in small pieces like a leaky faucet, so no one would notice the flood. They were moving millions. The life savings of hundreds of people. And the money wasn't just going to Chad's company. It was going to secret bank accounts with numbers instead of names, in faraway countries. Then, I saw it. The last item on the list. Friday, 5 p.m. Run System Purge. System Purge. That was my term. That was the emergency delete everything button I built into the code, in case the company was ever attacked by hackers. They weren't just going to steal the money. They were going to use my own tool to erase every single record. Every proof that the money ever existed. Every proof that they existed. They were going to wipe the system clean, and no one would ever know where the money went. And my secret key, my only way in, would be deleted right along with it. I looked at the clock on the wall. It was Tuesday morning. Had 3 days. I felt like I couldn't breathe. My hands flew across the keyboard. I had to get proof. I had to get it now. I pulled a small silver flash drive from my keychain. It was the one I used to keep pictures of my mom. I plugged it into the computer and started copying everything. The list of transfers. The secret account numbers. The schedule. The purge command. With every second that passed, my fear grew. What if someone came in? What if Chad got here early? My heart was pounding so hard, I was sure someone could hear it down the hall. Click. The file transfer was complete. I ripped the drive out of the computer and shoved it deep into my pocket, just as I heard the elevator ding. I quickly logged out of the secret system and locked my computer. I turned around, trying to look normal, just as Chad walked in. He was holding a giant, sugary drink. "Morning, Patty," he yawned. "You're here early. Eager to start training the new boss." I forced a smile. "Something like that, Chad. I wanted to get your new desk organized for you." He just laughed, not even noticing the sweat on my face. "Great. Well, let's get started on that gold mine stuff my uncle told me about." I spent the next 2 hours training him. I showed him all the fake files. The ones that made it look like the legacy account was old and boring and didn't have much money. He got bored in about 10 minutes. "Ugh, this is all just numbers," he complained, spinning in his new chair. "Just make me a list of the important parts, okay?" He put his feet up on the desk and started playing a game on his phone. He was a fool. A lazy, stupid fool. And they were using him. But as I watched him, a new, terrible thought hit me. What if Chad wasn't the only one? I needed to know who else was involved. I had to find an ally, someone I could trust. My mind went straight to Mary. Sweet, grandmotherly Mary from the accounting department. She had been at the company for 30 years. She knew everything. She always brought me a cookie on my birthday. I grabbed the files I had copied, the real files, and went to the bathroom. I locked myself in a stall and pulled out the flash drive. I plugged it into my phone to look at the files again. Had to be sure. I scrolled through the transfer approvals. And that's when I saw it. A digital signature on the bottom of every single transfer. It wasn't Chad's. It wasn't Mr. Abernathy's. It was hers. Approved, Marianne Thompson. My stomach dropped to the floor. Mary. My Mary. The one I was going to ask for help. She was in on it. She was helping them. Felt dizzy. Was everyone at this company a liar? Was there no one I could trust? Felt so alone. I wanted to just go home, lock my door and cry. But then I thought about George the security guard. I thought about his little boat. I thought about my mom's face. I couldn't give up. Had to know why. I had to know if she was a monster, just like Abernathy, or if something else was happening. I walked out of the bathroom, my legs feeling like jelly. I walked over to the accounting department. Mary was at her desk, and she looked awful. Her eyes were red, and she looked like she hadn't slept in days. She looked pale and scared. Mary, I whispered. She jumped, startled. Oh, Patricia. You scared me. I leaned in close. Mary, I have to talk to you. It's about the legacy account. Her face went completely white. She looked like she had seen a ghost. She grabbed my arm, her nails digging into my skin. Shoo! She hissed, looking around the office in a panic. Not here. I can't. You don't know who is listening. Her hands were shaking even worse than mine. She looked terrified. This wasn't the look of a criminal. This was the look of a victim. Patricia, she whispered, her voice cracking. You are in so much danger. You have to stop. Forget you saw anything. Just go back to your desk. I knew right then she was trapped. Just like me. I can't, Mary, I whispered back. They are stealing everything. Her eyes filled with tears. She scribbled something on a yellow sticky note and pressed it into my hand, hiding it from view. Go here. Tonight. 7 p.m. Come alone. Don't bring your phone. Don't tell anyone. It was an address for a diner on the other side of town. Now go, she urged. Please, before he sees you. I turned to walk away, my mind spinning. Just as I took 2 steps, a cold voice boomed across the room. Patricia. Is there a problem? Froze. It was Mr. Abernathy. He was standing right behind me, and his face was not friendly at all. I turned around slowly, my heart hammering against my ribs. The sticky note from Mary felt like it was burning a hole in my hand. Mr. Abernathy was staring at me. His eyes cold and empty. He wasn't smiling anymore. Is there a problem here, Patricia? He repeated, his voice dangerously quiet. Mary looked down at her desk, her hands shaking. Had to think fast. I had to lie. I forced a nervous little laugh, trying to sound pathetic and weak, just like he thought I was. Oh no, Mr. Abernathy, I said, looking at the floor. I was just asking Mary about my own retirement. You know, since the promotion didn't work out, I just got worried about my future, that's all. He stared at me for a long, terrible second. I was sure he could hear my heart beating. Then his face relaxed. He almost smiled. He had believed me. He saw me as a sad, defeated woman worried about her little nest egg. Patricia, he said, patting my shoulder in that fake, friendly way. You shouldn't be bothering Mary with that. You should be focused on training Chad. Don't you worry about your money. This company always takes care of its loyal employees. The word loyal felt like a threat. Now, he said, Back to work. Both of you. He turned and walked away. Mary and I didn't even look at each other. The rest of the day was torture. Every minute felt like an hour. The flash drive in my pocket felt like a heavy stone. I had to sit next to Chad, pretending to be helpful. He was so lazy. He kept asking me to do his work for him. "Hey Patty, can you type up this email for me? I'm like super busy." He was busy, all right. He was shopping for expensive watches on his computer. I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell him he was a pawn in his uncle's evil game. But I just smiled and said, "Of course, Chad." Right away. Then my worst fear happened. Around 3 p.m., Chad turned to me. "Hey, my uncle wants me to look at that legacy thing. Can you log in and show me the reports?" My blood ran cold. He was asking me to log into the system they had locked me out of. He was sitting right next to me. I couldn't use my secret key. I couldn't do anything. "Oh, I said, trying to sound casual. "That old system is so slow. It's always crashing this time of day. Why don't I just run the report for you after you leave and email it to you? It will be on your desk in the morning." He just shrugged. "Whatever. As long as I don't have to do it." Finally, the clock hit 5 p.m. I packed my bag, my hands fumbling with my zipper. I could feel Mr. Abernathy watching me from his glass office. I didn't run. I walked slowly to the elevator, my back prickling. I felt like a target. I got in my car and just sat there for a full minute, my whole body shaking. I had the proof in my pocket. But what was I supposed to do with it? Go to the police? What if they were part of it too? This was bigger than I thought. I had to trust Mary. I had to go to the diner. I followed Mary's instructions. I drove for almost an hour to the other side of town. The diner was small and old, with a flickering neon sign that said, "Eat." I checked my pocket. I still had the flash drive. Mary said not to bring my phone, so I locked it in the glove box. I felt so exposed, so alone. I walked inside. The diner smelled like old coffee and grease. It was almost empty. I saw her in the very last booth, in the darkest corner. She looked up when I walked in, and her eyes were wide with terror. I slid into the booth opposite her. "Mary," I said, my voice just a whisper. "What is going on? You're scaring me." She was twisting a paper napkin into little pieces. "Patricia, you have to listen to me," she whispered, her voice frantic. "You have to get out of town. You have to disappear. Tonight." I was confused. "What? Can't. I have the proof, Mary. I have the flash drive. We can go to the police. We can stop them." I started to pull the drive from my pocket to show her. Her hand shot across the table and grabbed my wrist. Her grip was like steel. "No," she hissed, her eyes darting around the empty diner. "That's what he wants you to do. You don't understand. This isn't just about Mr. Abernathy stealing. He's not the real boss. He's just a middleman." I felt a chill go down my spine. "What do you mean?" Mary's eyes filled with tears that started rolling down her face. "He's washing money, Patricia. For very, very dangerous people. People who don't leave witnesses." "But why are you helping him?" pleaded. "Mary, you're a good person." She let out a sob, a broken little sound. "I'm not," she cried. "I'm a bad mother." She took a shaky breath. "My son David. He got into trouble. Gambling. He owes these same people a lot of money. Money we don't have. Abernathy found out. He came to me 2 months ago. He said he would fix David's problem, make the debt go away. If I did exactly what he said. If I approved the transfers. He said no one would get hurt." I stared at her, my heart breaking for her. She was trapped just like I was. "But Mary," I said, "if we show the police the flash drive." She shook her head, crying harder. "You don't get it, Patricia. He's not just using me. He's setting me up to take the fall for everything. And he's setting you up too." I frowned. "What do you mean, setting me up?" Mary leaned in so close I could feel her breath. "He knows you've been looking. He knows you're smart. He let you find that email on Chad's computer. He let you get into the system. I was completely lost. Why? Why would he let me get the proof? Mary's eyes were wide with pure terror. Because what's on that flash drive? It's not the real plan. It's a trap. The bank account numbers on that drive. Patricia, they're not his secret accounts. They're registered in your name. He's framing you as the person who stole all the money. And the system purge on Friday. That's not just to erase the data. That's when they're planning to get rid of you. The words "get rid of you" hung in the air. The greasy smell of the diner made me want to be sick. My mind was spinning. The flash drive in my pocket, my one piece of hope, suddenly felt like a hot, burning coal. In my name. I whispered, my voice trembling. All that proof. All those bank account numbers. It wasn't evidence against him. It was a fake trail, a story he wrote just for me. He was going to send me to jail or worse. All while he and his real partners disappeared with the money. Felt so stupid. So blind. Mary was crying so hard she could barely breathe. He needed someone to blame, she sobbed, tearing the paper napkin into tiny white pieces. He chose you, Patricia. He always said you were so smart and so quiet. He knew you'd be the perfect person to frame. Someone smart enough to look like you could steal the money, but too weak and alone for anyone to believe you when you said you were innocent. I wasn't his rock. I was just a tool. And now that he was done with me, he was going to throw me away. But how? Yes. The booth felt cold. How could he open bank accounts in my name? They need signatures. They need ID. Mary shook her head, her eyes red and puffy. He has everything, Patricia. For 15 years he's had your social security number, copies of your driver's license. All in your employee file. Don't you remember? 3 months ago. He had us all sign new insurance forms. You signed them, didn't you? You didn't read the small print. None of us did. I remembered. I was in a hurry. I just signed. I had handed him the pen to destroy my life. Felt so hopeless. So we're both trapped, I whispered, the words tasting like poison. He's using your son to control you. And he's using my name to frame me. Mary leaned in closer, her eyes wide with a terror I had never seen before. It's so much worse than that, she whispered. Abernathy. He's just a puppet. He's not the real boss. The people he's working for. They aren't just rich. They're dangerous. They are the ones who really own this company. And we are just ants to them. My heart stopped. This was bigger than a greedy boss. This was an entire secret organization. Who are they? Asked. Mary shook her head so fast her hair flew. You don't want to know. I don't even know their real names. I just know the code name they use for their secret bank. It's called the Silo. The Silo. I repeated. It sounded cold and deep and dark. It's not a real bank, she said, looking around the empty diner. It's a digital fortress. It's where all the real money is going. The accounts on your flash drive are just smoke. They're a distraction. A new thought cut through my fear. Sharp, clear thought. How do they move the money? Asked. If it's all a secret. They have one person, Mary said. One man who does everything. The one from the email you saw. Stephen. I remembered the name. Stephen from finance. The quiet man who always wore funny ties and ate lunch alone at his desk. Stephen said. He's not just a finance guy, Mary said. He's a computer genius. He's the only one Abernathy is truly afraid of. He's the only one the Silo trusts to move the money. Suddenly I saw a tiny, tiny light. Why is Abernathy afraid of him? Asked. Because Stephen isn't like them, Mary whispered. He's not doing this for money. He's trapped just like us. They have his sister. She's very, very sick in a special hospital. They pay for all her medicine. They pay all her bills. As long as they pay, Stephen does whatever they say. He's a prisoner, Patricia. Think he hates them. I see it in his eyes. He hates what he's doing. A new plan started to form in my mind. It was a wild, terrifying plan. The flash drive in my pocket was a bomb. But Stephen was the key. He wasn't just a victim. He was a weapon. "Mary," I said, my voice suddenly clear and strong. "I am not running. I am not going to jail. And they are not going to get rid of me. Or your son." Mary looked at me, her face a mask of confusion and fear. What are you going to do?" she asked. "I'm going to get Stephen," I said. "I'm going to get him to help us." "You can't," she gasped. "He'll never talk. He won't risk his sister's life." "He will," I said, the cold, sharp feeling in my chest growing stronger. "He'll help us if we can give him something he needs more than their money. We have to find a way to save his sister and take them all down." Had no idea how. But I had to try. Had 2 days. 2 days until this system purge. 2 days to turn a prisoner into an ally. I slid out of the booth. "Go home, Mary. Normal. I will handle this." I left her sitting in the booth, her face pale. I walked out of the diner into the cold night air. Felt different. The fear was still there, but it was hiding behind something new. I wasn't Patricia the victim anymore. I was Patricia the hunter. I walked to my car, my mind racing, planning my first move. How do I get to Stephen? How do I make him trust me? I put my key in the car door lock. And just as I did, I heard a click. It wasn't my car. It was the sound of a camera. I looked across the dark street. A black car with tinted windows was parked in the shadows. And a man I had never seen before was standing right beside it, holding a phone. He was taking my picture. My hand froze on the car door. The man was across the street. He was tall and thin. He wasn't hiding. He was just watching. He lowered his phone and stepped out of the shadows, into the weak light of a streetlight. My heart was a drum. Was this the end? Was he here to get rid of me? He took a step toward me. And I knew his face. I knew his funny, mismatched ties. It was Stephen, the quiet genius from the finance department. The man Mary said was trapped. The man who held the keys to everything. I didn't know if I should run or scream. He walked quickly across the empty street. His face was pale and he looked terrified. "Get in your car," he hissed. His voice nothing like the polite hello I heard in the office. "Now, drive. Don't look at me. Just drive. Go around the block. Park on the next street over. I will meet you there. If anyone is following you, keep driving and go straight home." He didn't wait for an answer. He turned and walked quickly back to his own dark car and drove away. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely get the key in the ignition. Was this a trap? Was he working with them? Was he leading me somewhere to be hurt? I looked in my mirror. The black car with the tinted windows was gone. He was gone. I had to make a choice. I thought of Mary's terrified face. I thought of my mom, alone in her small apartment. I took a deep breath. I started the car. I drove around the block, my eyes darting to every mirror. The street was empty. Parked. A minute later, his car pulled up behind me. He got out and slid into my passenger seat. He didn't look at me. He just stared straight ahead, his hands gripping his knees. "They are listening to everything," he whispered. "My phone, my computer, my car. Even my apartment. I think there are cameras in my apartment." He was breathing fast. "I saw you with Mary at the office. I knew Abernathy would send someone to watch her. Followed you here. We can't ever meet like this again. It's too dangerous." He was even more scared than Mary. "I know about your sister," I said quietly. Stephen froze. He turned his head and looked at me for the first time. His eyes were filled with so much pain. "What did Mary tell you?" he whispered. "She told me you're trapped," I said, my voice soft. "She told me they are paying for her care. My name is Patricia. I'm trapped too. They set me up. They put bank accounts in my name. They are going to frame me for stealing all the money." I had to know if I could trust him. This was my only chance. He let out a long, shaky breath. Clara, he said. Her name is Clara. She has a rare blood disease. She needs medicine every single day or she won't make it. The hospital. It's not a hospital. It's a prison. They have guards. I can only see her once a week. They told me if I ever try anything, if I ever stop working, they will stop her medicine. They will just let her die. He was crying now, silent tears rolling down his face. I'm a monster, Patricia. I'm helping them steal from good people. But I can't let my sister die. That's why we have to stop them, I said, my voice feeling stronger than I was. I have the flash drive. The one they want me to have. Stephen shook his head. It's useless. It's all fake. The real money. It goes to the silo. And the silo. It's me. It's a program I built. An artificial intelligence. It's a digital vault that can move money anywhere in the world. And no one can trace it. They stole it from me. And I'm the only one who can control it. He was a genius. A real-life genius, and he was their slave. I know, I said. And I know the system purge is on Friday. We have 2 days. Stephen let out a dry, harsh laugh. You're wrong, he said, and my blood ran cold again. Abernathy is getting nervous. He thinks you're moving too fast. He thinks you and Mary are a problem. They moved the purge. It's not Friday anymore. My heart stopped. When? Yes. He looked at me, his eyes wide with pure terror. Tomorrow. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. We don't have 2 days, Patricia. We have less than 24 hours. My mind went blank. One day. It was impossible. We can't, I whispered. We can't do anything in 1 day. That's the point, Stephen said, his voice broken. It's over. You need to run. Take Mary and run. Get as far away as you can. I looked at him. I saw the flash drive in my pocket. I saw the lazy, stupid face of Chad in my mind. No, I said. You're a genius, Stephen. You built the silo. You can build a way to stop it. He shook his head. I've tried. For a year I've been trying. I built a secret backdoor. A way to get in without them knowing. I'm too afraid to use it. If I make one mistake, Clara is gone. So don't make a mistake, I said. He looked at me like I was crazy. We need a new plan. Fast plan. They are watching you. They are watching Mary. They are watching me, I said, thinking of the man at the diner. But who aren't they watching? Stephen looked confused. What? Who is the one person in that office that they trust completely? The one person they think is too stupid to ever be a threat. A tiny spark of light flickered in Stephen's eyes. He whispered the name. Chad. He nodded. They want to frame me. They want to use my name on their fake accounts. So, we're going to let them. But we're going to change where the money really goes. How? Stephen asked. They are watching my computer. I can't change the codes. The second I try, they'll know. You're right, I said, pulling the flash drive from my pocket. You won't use your computer. You're going to use his. I held up the drive. You're going to put your secret backdoor on this drive. And tomorrow morning I'm not going to train Chad. He is going to do the purge. And he is going to send all their money to a place they can never get it back. Stephen stared at the flash drive in my hand. He looked like he was seeing a ghost. Use. Chad. He whispered. Patricia, that is completely insane. He's an idiot. He'll mess it all up. I shook my head, my voice firm. That's why it will work. He is an idiot. He is lazy. He won't ask any questions. His uncle told him to do the purge. And he wants to do it with the least amount of work. And we are going to make it easy for him. We are going to make it a one-click job. He looked down at the flash drive, then back at me. For the first time, the terrible fear in his eyes was replaced by a tiny, sharp spark. Spark of hope. Abernathy wants you to have that drive, he said, his mind working fast. He's expecting you to have it. He'll probably search your desk for it. He thinks it's his trap. I nodded, my hand tightening around the small piece of plastic. And we are going to turn his trap into our own. Can you do it? Can you put your secret code on this drive? I can't go back to my computer, he said, the spark fading. They'll see. They log every single key I press. They'll know the second I do it. Then how? I asked, my own hope starting to fall. He paused. He looked around the dark car as if checking for spies. Then slowly he unclasped his simple, cheap-looking black watch. He turned it over. He pressed a tiny hidden button on the side. The back of the watch popped open. Tucked inside wasn't a battery. It was a tiny, tiny micro-SD card. I've had this on me for 6 months, he whispered. My just-in-case plan. Has the back door. The key to the silo. I felt a rush of adrenaline. We need a clean computer. A way to move the file from this card to your drive. My heart sank. I don't have one. Then I remembered. My phone, said my voice too loud. It's in the glove box. I left it here, just like Mary said. I fumbled for it, my hands clumsy. Do you have an adapter? He pulled a small tangle of wires from his pocket. He was a genius. He was prepared for everything. He plugged the card and the flash drive into my little phone. The screen lit up the dark car, making us both look like ghosts. What will the code do? I asked as he tapped quickly on the screen, his fingers flying. The silo is designed to move money to secret accounts, he said. His eyes focused. Abernathy has given me the final list. My code will change that list. At the last second it will send every single dollar. Not to them but to a place I created. A digital black hole. The money won't be stolen. It will just be gone. Frozen. Trapped in a digital vault that only I have the key to. They won't be able to get it. And we can use it as proof. Beep. My phone screen said, transfer complete. He pulled the drives out and handed the flash drive back to me. It looked exactly the same. It was no bigger than my thumb. But now, it was a bomb. Okay, he said, his voice shaky. The weapon is ready. How do you get a lazy, stupid boy to set off a bomb he doesn't know he's holding? I'm going to use his greatest weakness, I said. His laziness. I'm going to tell him this drive is a secret shortcut. A program I wrote to do the whole system purge. For him with just one click, so he can leave early. Stephen looked at me, and I could see he was terrified. It has to look real, he said. When he clicks it, it needs to look like the purge is happening. I made it look just like the real program. It will have a loading bar. It will say, deleting files. But while it's deleting, it will be moving every cent. And what about you? Yes. What about Clara? When the money vanishes, they'll know it was you. They'll go right for her. His face went dark. This is the scary part. When the money vanishes, the silo will know. They'll know I did it. I'll have, maybe an hour, to get to Clara before they do. I have a plan for that too. But it only works if your part works. You have to get him to plug in that drive, Patricia. You have to. My sister's life, Mary's son's life. All those employees. It all comes down to you. I'll do it, I said. My voice didn't even shake. I was not Patricia the secretary anymore. I will not let them win. He nodded, a grim, sad look on his face. Go home. Get some sleep. Don't bring that drive to the office in the morning. Hide it. Bring it in after lunch. Normal. Defeated. They will be watching you. He opened the car door. And Patricia, he said one last time. Don't trust anyone. Not even Mary. She's a good person, but she's terrified. And terrified people are dangerous. He was gone. I drove home. My mind was not spinning. It was sharp. It was clear. Had the drive. Had the plan. I had less than 24 hours to save us all. I parked my car and walked up the steps to my small apartment. I was so tired my bones ached, but I felt more alive than I had in years. I just needed a few hours of sleep. I put my key in the lock and turned it. The door swung open, and my heart stopped. My apartment was not empty. Every light was on. And Mr. Abernathy was sitting in my chair, holding a framed picture of my mother in his hand. "Working late, Patricia," he said with a terrible, cold smile. My blood turned to ice. It wasn't just my boss in my apartment. It was a monster. He was sitting in my favorite chair, the one my mom gave me. And he was holding her picture. The flash drive in my pocket felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. I was so scared he could hear it. I was so scared he could see it. "Mr. Abernathy," I whispered, my voice shaking so hard I could barely speak. What are you doing here? How did he even get in?" "My door was locked. He must have used a key." He smiled, a slow, cold smile that didn't reach his eyes. He put my mother's picture down on the table, very gently. "I have a key to every employee's apartment, Patricia. For emergencies, of course." He stood up and walked toward me. He was so much bigger than I remembered. "You were out very late. I was worried about you. Especially after you were seen in a bad part of town. In a diner. With Mary." My heart stopped. He knew. He knew about the diner. He had me followed. Had to think. I had to lie. The truth would get me killed. I started to cry. It wasn't hard. The tears were real. I was scared. I sobbed, letting my body shake. Mary told me. She said I was going to lose my retirement. I was just asking her what to do. "I have to take care of my mom. Please," I begged, letting my voice crack. "I don't know what to do. I have nothing left." I let myself fall against the wall, covering my face. I had to look broken. I had to be the weak little mouse he thought I was. He watched me, his face hard. He was trying to see if I was lying. "Mary is a confused old woman, Patricia. You shouldn't listen to her." He stepped closer and my whole body went stiff. He was standing right in front of me. I could smell his expensive cologne. "And you're so smart. I was worried you might try to do something stupid. Like take something that doesn't belong to you." He was talking about the flash drive. He was asking me if I had it. "No," I cried, my voice high and thin. "I would never. The company is my life. I wouldn't know how to take anything." He smiled again. "Good." He looked at the purse I had dropped by the door. "You won't mind then?" He walked over, picked up my purse and dumped everything out onto my kitchen table. My keys, my old lipstick, my wallet, a pack of tissues. It all spilled out. He sifted through it with his fingers. He was looking for a drive. He was looking for the evidence. I held my breath. The real bomb, the real drive, was safe. Hidden deep in my pants pocket. He found nothing. Just the junk of a sad, lonely woman. He pushed my things aside with a sigh. "It seems you're telling the truth. Good for you, Patricia. You're just a loyal employee after all." He sounded disappointed. He wanted to find something. He wanted a reason to get rid of me. But I had played the part perfectly. I was just a scared, pathetic woman. I'm sorry," I whispered, wiping my fake tears. "I'm just so worried about my mom. I'll be good. I promise." He walked to the door. He turned, his hand on the knob. "Your mother," he said, and my blood froze again. "She's in that little apartment on Elm Street, isn't she? Apartment 2B. It's not a very safe building." He was telling me he knew where she lived. He was telling me he could hurt her. "You have a big day tomorrow, Patricia. Training Chad. The big system purge. I expect you to be on time. And I expect you to be helpful. No more secret meetings. Do you understand me?" I just nodded, too terrified to speak. "Yes, Mr. Abernathy. I understand." He smiled his terrible smile one last time. "Good girl." And then he was gone. The door clicked shut. I stood there for a full minute, unable to move. I was shaking from head to toe. Then, slowly, I reached into my pocket. My fingers touched the small, hard plastic of the flash drive. It was still there. It was safe. He had been in my home, he had threatened my mother, and he had missed it. The fear. It just vanished. Turned into something else. Something cold and hard and sharp. He had been in my home. He had threatened my mother. He didn't just want my job. He didn't just want to frame me. He was willing to hurt the one person I loved in this whole world. This wasn't about money anymore. This wasn't about my job. This was about justice. He thought I was a mouse. He didn't know he had just cornered a lion. I locked my door. Put the chain on. I knew he might come back. I knew they might be listening. I had to hide the drive until morning. I couldn't keep it in my pocket. I couldn't put it in a drawer. He had a key. He could come back and search while I was at work. I looked around my small, simple apartment. I needed a place he would never, ever think to look. My eyes landed on my mother's picture on the table. The one he had touched. And I knew exactly what to do. I did not sleep. How could I? I sat at my small kitchen table, my hands perfectly steady. I carefully opened the back of the picture frame. The one Mr. Abernathy had held. The picture of my mother smiling at me. I took the small silver flash drive, the bomb Stephen had built, and I taped it flat against the back of her photograph. I slid the picture and the cardboard backing into the frame. He had touched the frame, but he would never ever think to look inside the picture of the very person he was using to threaten me. I placed it on my nightstand. The trap was set. The next morning I was a different person. On the outside I was the same sad Patricia. I wore my most boring gray work clothes. I put my hair in a tight bun. Had to be the mouse. I had to look defeated. I walked out of my apartment, leaving the drive behind. This was the first part of the gamble. I knew he had a key. I knew he might send someone to search my apartment while I was at work. I had to trust that he believed I was too stupid to have a plan. I walked to the bus, my back straight, feeling his eyes on me even when he wasn't there. I walked into the office. The clock on the wall said 8:53 a.m. Today was the day. The system purge. I could feel the electricity in the air. Mr. Abernathy was already in his glass office, watching me like a hawk. I kept my head down just like a good beaten dog. I saw Mary at her desk. She looked awful, her face pale and her eyes red. She tried to catch my eye, to ask me a question, but I looked away. Stephen was right. Terrified person is a dangerous person. I could not trust her. I could only trust my rage. Chad stumbled in at 9:30 a.m., holding his coffee. "Patty," he whined, "this is going to be the worst day. My uncle is making me do this whole purge thing at 5 p.m. It sounds like so much work." He was a spoiled, lazy child. And I was going to use it. I leaned over, my voice a quiet whisper. "Oh, Chad," I said, my voice trembling just a little. "I was so worried you would be stressed. Oh, I made something for you last night. To make it easier." His eyes, dull and bored, suddenly lit up. "Easier? How?" I wrote a little program," I whispered, pretending to be scared. It's a shortcut. Does the whole purge, all the file deleting. Everything. All by itself. All you have to do is plug it in and click one button. It will look like you did all the hard work." His lazy face broke into a huge, greedy smile. "No way. A one-click button. Patty, you're a genius. Where is it? Give it to me now." I shook my head, my eyes darting toward Mr. Abernathy's office. I was too scared to bring it in," I said. "I have it at home. On a flash drive." "At home," he whined. "Why?" "I was worried I'd get in trouble," said my voice small. "I can go get it at lunch. It will only take a few minutes. I can sneak it in." He nodded, his eyes bright with laziness. "Yes, do it. Go at lunch and get that drive. You're going to make this day so easy." He had no idea. I looked at the clock. 10:15 a.m. Lunch was 1,000 years away. The wait was a special kind of torture. I saw Stephen pass my desk. Quiet genius. He looked like a man walking to his own death. His face was gray. Our eyes met for half a second. I gave him the smallest, tiniest nod. A nod that said, "The plan is moving. Be ready." His eyes widened just a little. He knew what that nod meant. It meant his sister's life, Mary's son, and the savings of hundreds of people were all in my hands. He walked away, his back straight. He was ready. 12:30, I stood up. "I'm going to lunch, Mr. Abernathy," I called out, my voice small. He just grunted. I walked to the elevator. My legs were shaking. I went home. I unlocked my door. My heart was pounding. Was he inside? Was he waiting? I pushed the door open. My apartment was empty. Just as I had left it. I ran to my bedroom. The picture frame was on the nightstand, untouched. He hadn't come back. He really, truly believed I was nothing. He had missed it. I grabbed the drive from the frame. I raced back to the office. I was shaking, but not from fear. It was power. I walked right to Chad's desk. He was playing a game on his phone. "Did you get it?" he asked. I placed the small, silver flash drive on his desk. "Here it is," I whispered. "At 5 p.m. just plug this in. A window will pop up. Click the file that says systempurge.exe. It will do the rest." He picked it up. "Sweet. You're the best, Patty." The clock on the wall was a monster, eating my life. 3 p.m. 4 p.m. 4:30 p.m. The office was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. 4:50 p.m. My heart was going to beat out of my chest. 4:55 p.m. Chad, with a big, stupid yawn, picked up the drive. He plugged it into his computer. He looked at me and gave me a little thumbs up. He moved his mouse to the file. And just as his finger was about to click, a loud, terrible siren started to wail. Red lights flashed in the hallway. A cold voice came over the speaker. "Security alert. Level red. No one leave the building. All exits are locked." The world turned red. The alarm was so loud it hurt my ears. Chad froze, his finger just above the mouse. What's happening?" he yelled over the noise. "What's that sound?" My heart, which had been pounding, suddenly went cold and still. The plan was dead. It was over. He knew. Mr. Abernathy burst out of his glass office. He wasn't smiling. His face was twisted and purple with rage. "And no one moves," he screamed. He pointed right at me. "Ooh, you stupid, stupid woman. Did you really think I wouldn't find out?" I was so scared I couldn't speak. How did he know? He started walking toward Chad's desk. "Give me the drive, Chad," he ordered. "She's a thief. She's been working with Stephen to steal from us." Chad looked so confused. He looked at me, then at his uncle. "But," she said it was a shortcut. She lied. Mr. Abernathy roared. He was just a few feet away now. He was reaching for the mouse. "She's trying to frame you, you idiot." The clock on the wall said 4:58 p.m. This was it. I was going to jail. My mother was not safe. But then I saw his eyes. The eyes of a liar. I looked at Chad. He was a fool. He was lazy. He was greedy. And that was my only chance. "He's the one lying, Chad," I screamed over the alarm. "He's been using you. He's the one stealing millions. I didn't make that drive to frame you. I made it to give you all the money. Click that button and it all goes to you. It's your gold mine, Chad. Take it." Mr. Abernathy's face went white. He knew I had caught him. He knew I was using Chad's own greed against him. "Don't listen to her, Chad. I'm your family." It was a perfect moment. The lazy boy who wanted everything. The evil uncle who was using him. Who would he choose? The clock hit 4:59 p.m. "Click it, Chad," begged. "It's all yours. Or let him take it." Mr. Abernathy lunged for the desk, his hand grabbing for the mouse. But Chad was faster. In one quick, selfish move, he snatched the mouse away. "It's mine," he shouted. And he clicked the button. The screen flashed. A new window opened. A loading bar appeared. System purge in progress, it read. Mr. Abernathy let out a sound I will never forget. It was the sound of a monster who had just lost everything. "No!" he screamed, his voice breaking. "You fool! You idiot boy! You've ruined us!" He grabbed Chad by his shirt, ready to hit him. But at that exact second, the main office doors burst open. It wasn't building security. It was the police. 6 of them. They flooded the room, their guns pointed right at Mr. Abernathy. My boss froze, his hand still holding Chad's shirt. He was trapped. And then, standing behind the police, I saw him. Stephen. He was not wearing his funny tie. He was holding the hand of a pale, sick girl in a wheelchair. His sister, Clara. She was safe. Stephen looked at me and he smiled. "The alarm, Patricia," he said, his voice strong and clear. "It wasn't his. It was mine. I set it off at 4:55 p.m. I didn't understand. Why?" He pointed to the police. "It was the signal. It was the only way to get the police here in time to catch him in the act. It was the only way to get my sister out. While that alarm was ringing, my real program was sending all the real files, the ones from the silo, straight to their computers. We got them, Patricia. We got them all." My legs gave out. I sank into my chair. We had won. The money, our money, was not gone. It was just frozen in Stephen's secret locked box. It was the proof. The police put handcuffs on Mr. Abernathy. His face was gray. It looked small. They took Chad too. He was crying, asking for his uncle. Mary ran over to me and we just cried together. She was safe. Her son was safe. This whole time I thought I was a mouse hiding in the dark. But he was the one who was scared. He was the one hiding. He threatened my mother. He threatened Stephen's sister. He hurt us because he was weak. But we fought back. And we won. If my story touched your heart, please, I am begging you, click that like button. So many people out there feel just like I did. They feel small and they feel invisible. Your share. It helps this story find them. Tells them that they are not alone. Tells them that they are strong. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. You are the good people. You are the reason we found the strength to fight. Thank you. A few weeks later, I stood in a beautiful garden. The sun was warm. I was pushing a wheelchair. But it wasn't Stephen's sister. It was my mom. I got her into the new nursing home. The best one. "It's so beautiful here, Patricia," she said, touching a bright red flower. I smiled, and for the first time in my life the smile was real. I was not a secretary. I was not a victim. I was a daughter. And I was free. He thought he had cornered a mouse. But he forgot that even a mouse can chew through the wires and burn the whole house down.